they be waiting to see you. Dang! In your name. That was very rude of them to do that.
Hey everybody, good evening. Welcome to another season of Purpose for Forever. We appreciate you, all of my replay peoples. Thank you for watching and rocking. Happy Martin Luther King Jr. birthday. What? MLK Day.
Right. It's not called. Okay. Go ahead.
It's his birthday.
Just
happy birthday to you. See?
come on.
All right. So then we're talking about conversations to prepare your family, and we've been having some conversations with our kids, preparing your family for anything drastic happening, moving forward when we're not here any longer. A lot of different conversations, but she's gonna make weird faces all night. So just focus right here. Focus right here. Don't look over there. Focus right here.
Come on, don't do that.
All right. Oh, somebody put a comment. What up? Good evening, Deborah. I kind of like that. Look at that. Bam. Look at that. All right. So make sure you share. Sharing is caring. If you're on the replay, make sure you share. Sharing is caring. It works all the time. If you're on YouTube, make sure you put a comment, say what up. Make sure you subscribe and all that good stuff. So if I could find my intro,
right,
I got to dig in for it. Un momento, por favor. Shut your face and
me and you together, our purpose for forever. Won't let nothing ever tear us apart. Me and you together, our purpose for forever. Won't let nothing ever tear us apart. Me and you together, our purpose.
Bam! Welcome back. So appreciate you guys rocking and hanging and watching us coming into this new year. I think it's our first New Year chat, just me and Sam, right?
Yeah, it's probably our first chat in a minute.
Shippity.
We always have people on. And of course, our first chat would be on a day where I don't feel good.
It's not feeling 100%, so.
And boss, don't give me no time off.
Nope.
So.
Nope.
Here I am.
So, again, make sure you share. Sharing is caring. Let everybody know that we are in the building. So we're going to talk about some of the conversations we've had with our children about preparation.
Right. So I guess I need waiting for me to start. Well, I guess I'm going to be really, really short. So I'm just going to talk about how we prepared for the new year,
right.
As a couple and as a family. So generally, of course, there is anticipation of the new year. We were very anxious for last year to end. And then, excited about the possibilities of a new year.
Right.
So we decided to fast for a few days and pray,
yes,
and ponder and meditate.
Right.
Any of those we want to use to describe
your
personal process. And we set out with our notebooks.
Yes.
After we had taken notes for some days or whatever, and we shared the things that was on our hearts and our minds as far as the position we wanted to see our family go in this year.
Right.
Why is that important? Because if you want to talk biblically, the Bible says, what is it? Without vision, people perish.
Yes, without vision, people perish.
If you just want to talk every day, if you fail to plan, you plan to fail.
Yes.
The reality is, it's always good to have a goal, to set some goals in place, to talk about your expectations of each other, because we did that as well.
Yes.
There was some stuff that I just did not like. And so we had the opportunity to really be honest about some of those things that had happened through the year. Not things that may not have been like big offenses, may not have been anything that, was upsetting, but just, I didn't really like the way this went. And hopefully going forward, we could change some things and do some things differently.
Right.
So we had all those conversations, talking, listening to each other.
Yes.
We also brought the kids in at the latter part of the conversation
Right.
to try to instill in them, that they need to set goals for themselves.
Yes.
As far as school, what they want to see happen in school.
Right.
We even talked about what they want to see happen for their birthdays, even though those months away. All those things, just so a couple of things. One, so they can feel like they have a voice in their household.
Right.
Two, to keep the lines of communication open. I mean, they're not quite teens,
Right.
but they're getting there. And I feel like if we don't practice talking and listening to them, the older they get, really want to talk to your parents.
Right.
You start confiding in people outside the house.
Right.
So bringing them into the conversation was a way to just kind of keep them steered away from those types of things early.
Right.
Because we don't want to wait until they're the problem and then try to fix it.
Right.
So if we can get ahead of things, that's always a good thing. So we put down goals, put some things on the calendar. Like I said, open communication. I had a chance to tell him something that I had been trying to figure out how to
Right.
say. Not because, I don't know, sometimes you just don't know what you say, how what you say is going to affect
Right.
your partner. And I wasn't sure how to say it without it being, something that hurt him or made him feel some kind of way. So we had a chance to do that. And that's how we started out our January, going into the new year, on the same page. Again, writing some things down, because if you get too far off track, you could always go back to what you've written down and
Right.
say, well, we kind of agreed to this, or, I think that's important.
Yes.
I would say this was a new process for us, being that we just got remarried.
Right.
In times past, we didn't always do that.
Right.
We typically went on fast, maybe like with the church, but we never really discussed our personal goals
Right.
for our relationship. So this year, that was something new that just kind of went along with our new commitment to communicating with each other.
Right.
So that was just some of the things we did in our household to prepare for the new year. Now, every relationship is different. Every household is different. But I think it is important to sit down a couple of times a year as a couple and talk about where you are and where you want to go collectively and separately. I think it's good that our children see us do that.
Right.
It teaches them lots of things, how to work together with their partner. It teaches them how to respect each other, because I'm listening to what you have to say, you listen to what I have to say.
Right.
So I would encourage any couple, just because January is, halfway spent, it's never too late to sit down and have a conversation.
Right.
Talk about your goals, talk about your dreams.
Right.
And even if all you have is a fantasy,
Right.
something you think you won't even be able to achieve.
Yeah.
Talk about that too. Sometimes that just opens up, other conversations. Sometimes your mate may be having some of them same thoughts.
Right.
And it could be a common ground. Don't just go into it with, I don't like this and I don't like that.
Yeah. So, and just as a note, we're doing like New Year resolutions. This is, we're setting goals, things that we want to accomplish this year. We write them down. We have actionable things that we're trying to do. We have action steps that we're taking to make things happen. So we just use the new year as kind of a reset. So it's not just we talk about it, but we track it like the next month or a couple of weeks. We see where we're at. How are we on track to what we discussed at the beginning of the year? We're holding our kids accountable as well. So in that preparation, the preparation for life, preparation for them going into adulthood, preparation for the direction of our family. So even the one thing about goals and having a agreement on where we're going is when something, an opportunity, offer, or whatever comes into our atmosphere, comes into our space, based on where we decided we're going, does this thing fit that direction?
Right.
And that's the conversation. You know, no matter, because I'm an opportunity kind of dude. I get excited.
Very.
And then we have the conversation like, yo, can I fit this puzzle into, you know, because this is kind of dope.
Right.
And
Can I fit this circle into this square?
Sometimes it'll fit right in, you know, but a lot of times, you know, it's like, okay, I know I'm excited. It's just hot. It's dope. But I know it doesn't fit into where we're going in this season.
Right.
You know, because sometimes you don't have to necessarily throw it away. But it's like right now, we don't have either the resources, either time or money to focus on this thing for it to work properly. So you got to take it, like we always say, put a pin in it and revisit it. So our primary focus is just building up, you know, what we're trying to do for the future. So we have an understanding. So, you know, like we always talk about in the Bible, walking in agreement. So we haven't, so there's, it takes away less, you know, time that we fight about something when we just look clearly, you know, it's kind of like the law, like this is what we agreed on. And I can huff and puff, is like, yeah, I guess so. You know, and sometimes things aren't stone. Things aren't set in stone. You can revisit and like, hey, what if we shifted this? But we have an agreement like, okay, so then we're going to take that goal and put that here. And then we're going to move that goal up, you know, so what are we doing? Because, you know, what we want is she wants to know where we're going, you know. So if I'm seeing something new, where are we going there? You know, based on what we discussed, how is that fitting to where we're going? You know, it's as a leader, if you're leading, then you have to be leading, you know, a team. You're leading as a team, leading as a group, and not leading hey, we're going this way, and they have no understanding of what's happening. Because it's hard for someone to back you up, to have your back when they don't know where you're going. Because right. So like I said, we have these discussions. It's like a reset. We get our goals down, and we plan. We also talk about, you know, issues or situations that come up within the household, being safe, you know, in this time where it's kind of like wonky. We don't know what's going on, what's going to happen. You know, we talk to the kids about fire. If somebody busts through the door, what to do and where to go. And it's real conversation because I want my children to really think about it, you know, and have it in their mind. And like, you don't have to worry about it, but you at least know what to do or how to react. We just want to think like, remember mom said do, you know, remember dad said do, you know, so at least you're focused, you have a plan instead of just being surprised. Bam, what's that? True. Hey, what's up, Ashley? So it's that's significant as well. And like I said, we discussed with them what is it that they want to accomplish, you know, as far as school, getting grades better, doing well in this area, become, you know, and we've asked them what their goals are, and they discussed to us things that they want to accomplish, things they want to get better at, because I want to include them in the conversation. Like she said, having more of an open conversation where communication is happening between our kids, us and our kids, as opposed to tell them. And you're right. You know, we've been kids over time. You shut down like, I'm finding other people to have conversation with, someone that's going to listen to how I feel or what I want. So we're trying to be the first place for them to go so they can have those conversations. It just makes it easier as far as their development. It makes it, they can talk to sensible people that's actually there for them and not just what I can get out of them.
Also, it's important to have relationship checkups.
Right.
You have to check in. Nobody wants to be on a hamster wheel.
Right.
Where you just going and going and
Right.
going. Work. Oh, it's time for the family vacation.
Right.
Take a vacation. Oh, well, this year we go to your mama house. And so you go to your mama house. Oh, and next year we go on to my parents. And you just kind of going through the motions. That's not really, you're not getting the maximum effects of marriage.
Right.
You're just kind of going through the motions. You know, marriage doesn't have to be blah.
Right.
You know, it doesn't have to be like, oh, the ball and chain or whatever else they used to say. You know,
Right.
your marriage is what you make it. So it's important to check in and see how your mate is feeling. Check in, have conversations about your finances. Even if he pay all the bills,
Right.
occasionally I need to know, you know, how we looking on savings? You know, do we have any savings? Do we have an emergency fund? Like those conversations are important.
Right.
I think if you have a lot of these conversations, ahead of time.
Right.
You wouldn't always run into the brick wall where you're like, well, I thought you were putting money to the side I thought we had this, or I thought we had that. If you have those relationship checkups, you don't have to think. You know where you guys stand. You know what's going on. A lot of times there's one parent that primarily deals with the children.
Right.
And so the other parent is out of the house most of the time or working or whatever it is. So sometimes you need to check in and see how your kids are doing. Maybe your kids don't get into trouble. Maybe your kids keep their grades up. Mm-hmm. But you still need to know what's going on in their head. What do they think about what's going on in the world?
Right.
What ideas do they have about whatever? Like my son, who was only 12, before you jump crazy, like he told me, Mommy, do you have to vote?
Right.
Of course, I was horrified. Like, what do you mean? Do you have to? Yes. Like, you are going to be a black man. You absolutely have to vote.
Right.
Of course, that's what all my insides was saying. And I was like screaming.
Right.
But, I had to sit him down and go through the process and answer questions and, help him to understand the process. He just felt like, all this stuff is just too much. I don't want to be bothered with it. So, that's a part of parenting. Like, take time, talk to your family, talk to your children, talk to your spouse.
Right.
Have a plan. Be on the same team.
Right.
For a team to function as a team, you have to both know the plays.
Right.
Because if I'm running one play and he running another, it's going to be chaos.
Yes, indeed.
So you have to sit down. You have to have those conversations. It's so important. If the pandemic has taught households anything, it should have been that.
Right.
Like, we need to have a plan. We need to know what's going on. How many people at the last minute was trying to find toilet paper?
Right.
Because, babe, I thought you kept toilet paper in the pantry. Well, I don't go to the store until every third Saturday.
Right.
And it seems like something small, and it is, but there could be lots of issues.
Well, it could be a lot of issues.
Right. But I'm just saying, but if you don't ever talk to each other and figure out how your household works.
Right.
There's been times where coronavirus, has attacked a lot of households.
Right.
If I'm the primary store person, shopper, and I'm down, now he got to try to figure out what to do.
Right.
So conversations are important. Just being aware of what's going on in your home.
Right.
It's hard to do that without having conversations.
True.
Write stuff down.
Right.
Because you can argue with each other. No, you said, no, I didn't say that. And then I'll whip out my book if I have to. Because I done put on this day when we sat down, see what I wrote?
Right.
This is what you said.
Right.
And I know it seems like, well, that's just dumb, but it really isn't.
Right.
Sometimes just seeing, oh man, I did say that. Right. Like, conversation, communication goes a long, long way.
Right.
It could, be that dividing line between the longevity in your relationship and just bouncing around each other in the same building.
Right. I mean, having that clarity conversation, having that understanding of everybody's role as well, what they do in the house, because when one is down, the other can pick up the slack. Either from going to the doctor or handling a bill or handling certain things. When we're discussing these things, all the time when I'm learning what she does and when she learning what I'm doing, no matter what happens, things can continue on. Things can continue to run if one person is down, and everything doesn't have to stop. So that is like it's definitely important. So we talk about the goals going into the year. You talk about the checkpoints of how we're achieving the goals. And then at the same time, we talk about, the day-to-day stuff that goes on. So there's clarity, there's transparency in the communication. And that helps go into the goals. Because, what are you working on today? I mean, what are you working on? What block are you putting in to build for a better tomorrow? Right. Because it matters, and not getting sidetracked. Because I'll start chasing, like.
It's not you, baby.
Yes. So, the goals help me stay focused on what we're supposed to be accomplishing. You want to add something? I don't want to hold us too long, but I just kind of want to get that out and discuss the goals and positioning.
Oh, you said
Oh,
that.
yeah, go ahead. Because I had one more thing.
Go ahead.
Just a quick ad alert. Where's it at? Tomorrow.
Oh,
Where's that? Bam! Tomorrow. Sisters of Legacy. Yeah.
it did. What?
No, it's fine. It's just picture. That's the picture.
Oh, okay. I was waiting for the music.
Play on.
Yeah, I was about to start bouncing. There was no music. I would say for us, like I said, this is, since we've been remarried, we've been more intentional about our conversation. And to be honest, it has made a huge difference in our relationship. One, just choosing to rekindle, whatever word you want to use.
Nah.
Okay, so choosing to reconnect
Right.
and remarry, was a huge decision,
Right.
and it was a huge leap of faith. I will say, for me, and it wasn't something that we took lightly. We went to counseling,
Right.
all over again, like
Right.
it was the first time.
Right.
Like I haven't known him since we were 15.
Right.
I mean, we went through the whole process because, like, who wouldn't get it wrong again
Right.
with the same person again, and you got it wrong? That just seemed like that would be terribly, terribly, just terrible.
Right.
So we have been more intentional about our conversation, and we do hold each other accountable.
Right.
But in love, though,
Yeah.
like not well, you didn't do, like, not
Right.
that type of way.
Right.
We're definitely different in how we interact with each other, because we did realize a lot of things, realize a lot of ways that we fell short individually.
Right.
Not just blaming him for everything or you didn't do.
Right.
So I think it's very, very important. I would say if you've never done it, that one little thing, just sitting down with a notebook or a piece of paper, and just talking about some of your goals
Right.
as a couple. Some things you want to accomplish. Maybe it's just figuring out how to have a date night.
Right.
Maybe it's, figuring out how to take a couple's vacation.
Right.
It could be something so small, but just that conversation. I know for me as a woman, it makes me feel valued
Right.
when he takes the time to sit down and we have a conversation.
Right.
It makes me feel like he's really interested in us being connected.
Right.
And that's important, to have that connection with each other, not just a piece of paper. Because once they give you the piece of paper, it don't really mean a whole lot.
Right.
Whatever happens with your relationship from there has to be, how you steer it. So
Right.
if your relationship sucks, take some responsibility for that.
Right.
Figure out what you can do differently.
Right.
Figure out what you can do new. And I don't mean looking at somebody else's relationship and saying,
Right.
I want that,
Right.
because you never know
Right.
what people are going through behind closed doors. I will say for us, we were getting divorced and nobody outside of
Right.
our home or immediate circle had any idea.
Right.
So, you never know what's going on in people's house. Like, we spent plenty of time not even speaking to each other. Sometimes not even sleeping in the same bed. But people had no idea and
Right.
thought, we were like the perfect couple. So you never know what happens. So don't look at somebody else and say, I want that relationship.
Right.
Decide what you want your relationship to be, and, and take steps to create that.
Right. Right.
Really?
All that.
Just gonna keep
And
writing.
then some. All right. So we won't hold you guys long. We want to tell you we appreciate you guys rocking with us and hanging with us on my replay viewers. Make sure you share. Sharing is caring, and tag another couple that can be part of this conversation. Next week, I don't think we have a guest yet, so we're gonna bust out an awesome topic. And if you have any suggested topics, let us know.
And I'll feel better.
And
next week.
she will feel much better next week. We just a rough day. It's a rough day. All right, guys. So we appreciate you. As always, love intentionally
Love unconditionally.
and love on purpose.
Good
Night.